In the stock market, Jamaica is down while Trinidad is up. Managing Director of Legacy Fund Limited, Mr. Ervin Perez, shares his perspectives on investment opportunities in Belize. Disc jockey and entertainer, Linda Blease, who has journeyed across the globe graciously, shares her experiences with us, and Sensei Leon Guild offers us some expertise in the business of martial arts. I'm Destiny Wagner, and this is Legacy Markets. Good night and welcome to Legacy Markets. I'm Destiny Wagner, your host for the newest source for intelligent and unbiased coverage of money, business, and the economy at home and in the Caribbean region. Analyst and co-host Rafia Flowers is here to provide you with the weekly business headlines and the latest news on the Caribbean stock markets.
Thank you, Destiny. The Jamaica Stock Exchange experienced a 0.27% decrease from the previous trading week. The top winners were First Rock Real Estate Investment Limited, up by 23%, and 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, up by 6.89%. The losers were Margaritaville Limited, down by 17.13%, and QWI Investments Limited, down by 11.39%. Member dealers, brokers, and listed companies of the Jamaica Stock Exchange continue to be late in filing their audited financial statements and annual reports. As a result, the JSE has begun to address these issues that have become more prevalent since March 2020. Before 2019, only 5 financial statements were late, growing to more than half of last year and 35% of the companies this year. Moving on to Barbados, the Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory is now recognized as a National Influenza Center and a member of the World Health Organization's Global Influenza Surveillance and Response System. The achievement is expected to bolster the Barbados medical system and empower individuals pursuing opportunities in science. Now on to the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. The TTSE advanced by 2% from the previous trading week. The top 2 winners were Angostura Holdings Limited, up by 11.5%, and Guardian Holdings Limited, up by 5%. The top 2 losers were Trinidad and Tobago NGL Limited, down by 4%, and the West Indian Tobacco Company Limited, down by only 90 basis points. In the Trinidad and Tobago headlines, the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago plans to introduce a series of polymer $100 notes in 2024. This has sparked public inquiry regarding the necessity, cost, and alterations from the demonetization of the cotton $100 notes in 2019. Public scrutiny extends to the chosen supplier, Delarue plc, and implications for Trinidad and Tobago's cash economy versus digital alternatives. Now turning to Guyana. Amidst its rising stature driven by its oil and gas sector, Guyana will host the International Conference on Business, Commerce, and Management Studies on May 25, 2024 in Georgetown. Organized by the International Institute of Engineers, Researchers, and Doctors, the event will spotlight Guyana's growing appeal as an investment destination amidst its burgeoning entrepreneurial opportunities linked to its petroleum wealth. As for the foreign exchange rates for Belize, the Belize to Mexican Peso this week, the Mexican Peso appreciated against the Belize Dollar by less than 1 centavos. The Quetzal depreciated by less than 1 centavo against the Belize Dollar. As for the Belize to Euro, the Euro appreciated against the Belize Dollar by less than 1 cent. Looking at our domestic bank rates as of January 2024, lending rates for January 2024 remain at 8.4%. Term deposits increased slightly to 2.12%. Meanwhile, deposits declined by 1 basis point to 1.17%. Mortgage rates increased by 3 basis points to stand at 7.09%. Excess cash as of March 27, 2024 stood at $477 million, a decline of 6.4% from the previous year. Meanwhile, excess liquidity increased by 5.2%, standing at $830 million Belize dollars. And that is it for our business headlines. We will have a brief commercial break, but when we return, we will be joined by the guests our very own Managing Director of Legacy Fund Limited, Mr. Ervin Perez. Don't go away.
Legacy Fund will change Belize from small-scale municipal improvement projects to national infrastructural advancement. Unsightly playgrounds, derelict buildings, unsafe bridges, poor housing choices will become a thing of the past. How will this happen, you ask? Well, with the right partners, of course, but not the ones you're thinking of. Legacy is not looking at traditional financial institutions. We will build this transformation with you, the everyday hard-working Belizean citizen. The hairdresser, the tour guide, the fruit vendor at the market. Using the market and innovative financial tools, Legacy brings you and Belize the financial solution to grow your wealth for you and your community. Contact us and find out how you can be a part of this exciting new Belize that we build. Call 822-1794 or email clientservices@legacyfundlimited.com. People, capital, innovation. Legacy Fund Limited.
Welcome back. In this segment, we will focus on not only the economy, but our major sectors, industries, firms, and leaders that impact our wallets and economic opportunities. Today, we are pleased to speak with Mr. Ervin M. Perez, the Managing Director of Legacy Fund Limited and the Managing Partner of Alpha Capital, LLP. Welcome, Mr. Perez.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure to be on the Legacy Market Show.
Well, before we get into our topic of discussion, can you tell us more about Legacy Markets as well as Alpha Capital LLP?
Oh, thanks. So, some time ago, probably 2011, when I had just returned from studying, I was on a committee, a policy economic committee, looking at the debt super bond overhang and all of that stuff. And, we were thinking, how do we, manage this super bond while the government is constrained? And one thing was markets, using capital markets or using the markets where you issue long-term financial assets, stocks and bonds. And nobody was doing that. And, we also had a lot of the same kind of little bit of violence in the street. And my friend and myself were talking about what legacy do we have to give to the next generation. And we said, well, let's use our minds. Let's do something. And our goal was to try to find a way of raising capital in the market. And Alpha does quite similar, which is to use long-term savings from institutional investors, etc., to fund what we consider to be productive, transformative projects, public and private. In short, that's the job. And now we have a regulated space, meaning you have like a securities laws that we didn't have in 2011, 2012, and that should help our markets.
So ultimately, both of the organizations are continuing to expand throughout Belize.
Very true, very true. So initially we started working with municipalities, primarily local governments, to finance public asset projects. But now with regulation, you want to have the private sector, like in some of those areas like agriculture, tourism, where, more private sector, more volatile, more risk, to be able to finance long term. And that would be, how the expansion should take place, moving just from the local governments into all the spaces that private sector occupies.
So both of these organizations work heavily within the finance industry in Belize. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
So traditionally, as how business is done in Belize, you have a small business or you have a family shop and you want to expand, you would normally go to the credit union if you're a credit union member, or to a commercial bank for borrowing purposes. And while that is good, that has its own limitations. Financing, especially small companies or growing companies with debt, is always challenging, especially with debt from the bank. There is a monthly required payment, which if you miss, you are now in default. And as we know with small businesses, the revenues are up and down. They're very volatile, especially in new areas. That's where like markets, capital markets come in. You can have more permanent patient capital, as the word is used, when you have equity investors, so people investing in your business as owners, and are willing to wait until you can transform that business and make it profitable, and then you share in that profit with them through dividends. And then when it goes to even the traditional like debt financing, instead of having these regular monthly payments like a loan from a commercial bank, you would have more, bullet payments, 5 years or 10 years, when your project or whatever you're investing has turned the corner and generates the cash flow. So that is how it's tied. But commercial banks and credit unions, they perform a very vital role. They act as our payment platform. And so a market like a securities market kind of sits on the commercial bank and uses the commercial bank for transactions, for settlements, and that sort. And that's how, with this market that would be growing, the commercial bank's activities would also grow.
Okay, thank you for your expertise. So viewers, as you can see, Mr. Perez is very educated when it comes to finance in Belize. So let's go into a bit more depth about our show. From my understanding, this is a spin-off show of something that you started a few years ago. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, Mose from the Zinc Fence, or the Credit Group, we had a great relationship through some business activities that they used to do, and we started talking about financial literacy. Like, it would be great if more Belizeans would have a lot more knowledge of the financial system, savings, investment, retirement, pension. And initially we had tried to approach other more stable institutions to participate, like provide some kind of financial literacy program. And we couldn't get anybody involved. And Mose has this morning show, and he said, well, why don't I give you some time, and then we can have this conversation. And I said, sure. And that's how we started, and we had this show called Money Monday. So every Monday we would talk a little bit about finance and savings and that sort of stuff. And that's where it started. We wanted to develop that show. As you know, in Belize, usually over the weekend there is a slew of killings and murders, and so it used to always happen that we're having our Monday Monday show to talk about business, and then we kind of end up having to discuss the socioeconomic problems, and so we transform it to Tuesday. But a wonderful Belizean out of Jamaica, Kalila Reynolds, I saw she went out and she created a local version in Jamaica of Money Monday, and then now it's, I cannot recall the name, but it's a hugely followed show within the Caribbean, where she talks about the business in Jamaica primarily, but she also is bringing in the Caribbean. And it came back to us that, hey, we in Belize need to get our stories going too. We need to start like what you guys are doing, talk to the entrepreneurs and the business people from all angles, from tech to sports to entertainment. And if we can get that conversation going and get the average Belizean who might speak Bolido, right? We'll play our Bolido to start actually playing and trying to own a piece of the jewel through the different companies. That would be a good transformation. So Legacy Markets is kind of like our spear to try to elevate the conversation regarding business.
Yeah, definitely. Ultimately, it serves as a platform to educate others on financial literacy. And that's amazing. You mentioned that we interview entrepreneurs, which is one of my favorite parts on this show. But do you feel like there's any industries that we're not included, or any industries or economies that aren't getting as much publicity compared to others?
Well, the agro sector is huge. I think that has not really been featured, and for various reasons. we did, as I saw the show, did a piece on the sugar industry, but there's a lot of other areas in agro sector, from honey production to corn to the beans, the grains, cattle, and that's a huge area that you'd want to have an opportunity for other Belizeans to be able to understand and invest. But some of that is also the lack of information in that space. Tech, we could do more featuring on tech. I know we're moving towards that. There's a lot of tech entrepreneurs doing a lot of different things to bring the power of tech to even to our small economy, and that's a useful thing. I know there's a great feature on art, that orange culture, and we continue to do that. So these are areas that are new and that require some attention. You know, there's a lot of attention on tourism because that's like the huge driver in the economy. And we also have to bring that still across on legacy markets. But I think you guys are doing a fantastic job in terms of covering most of the bases.
Thank you. And speaking of covering bases, we want to talk now about capital markets in the Caribbean region. So can you kindly tell our viewers what exactly a capital market is?
Yeah, so, you know, like if you're looking to buy vegetables or fruits, you go to a farmer's market, right? Where you can buy, and it's full up with a lot of different farmers or stakeholders trading their produce for money. A capital market is one in which the owners of companies primarily trade or sell a small piece of their company to individuals who might be interested in taking a little bit of ownership, which would be stocks or equity, or providing some financing through a credit like a bond. But these tend to be much longer term assets like equity, which is then traded in a capital market, could be permanent. And the only way as a owner of an equity investment to get out of it is to sell it to somebody else. And that's what the market does allow you to trade that financial asset. And it's also done with long-term debt. You know, a bond might be 20 years, which is a kind of like an IOU. You've lent a company like BL, so BL has debentures, you've lent BL a little bit of money, and that money, they won't pay you back that until 20 years down the road. And you might say, well, you know, I'm going to get married, I want to buy a home, I need to sell that investment. And the capital market should allow that to take place. And that's what we're trying to really develop here. As with your business headlines, I know you guys speak about the Jamaica Stock Exchange, right. So Jamaica is way ahead, Trinidadian as well, and the Bayesian. That's part of the capital market.
So what are the main reasons that we should be advocating for a capital market here in Belize?
Well, where the greatest value in terms of economic growth happens, it tends to be in the space of new industries, right? And that's where the greatest risks are, because in new industries, there is not a developed market. The market is growing. So one of the greatest challenges in new markets is revenue stability, right? Ebb and flow, there's sharp volatility. What does that do if you're an entrepreneur or a business person? It makes managing your operations very difficult because your cash flow is very uncertain. How capital market will help all of us in Belize is in that space where you have volatility, you can then sell the future, like way down in the road, when this business has turned the corner, those profits and through equity, you know, through somebody saying, you know, I'm going to take a stake in your business, Destiny. I'm going to hold that for 10 years. But with the market, it can be I can come out of that position or I can come into that position. So the ability to help support our entrepreneurs, our growth business, to allow them to survive that volatility is why a capital or securities market would really help. So, and the growth areas would be where most wealth could be created. And one of the challenges, I was just talking to a business friend of mine, and we were talking about sports, and he was saying, well, you know, why he thinks it's such a challenge in Belize is that we just don't have enough disposable income. Like everybody's just getting by. Mm-hmm. And you're just getting by, it means no wealth is being created, right? So by being able to create a lot more wealth, not only will we have funds to get by, but we have to enjoy, to go out and so forth, and those other industries can develop. So the great hope is that this market will be able to push those things.
Definitely. Lastly, can you tell us about the Municipal Securities Act?
So I mentioned like very early on, 2012, when we started this business, we were trying to find a way of helping most Belizeans, or about over 50%, live in urban centers, and the quality of their lives is really dictated by the quality of experience in these urban centers: Belize City, Cayo, San Ignacio, Orange Walk, San Pedro. And the infrastructure around you helps, right? I have a colleague of mine who is saying that, you know, her car is always dusty because the road is not paved. So, you know, that's just a quality of life experience. And so one of the things we wanted to do was to work with municipalities. A lot of municipalities have local revenues that they collect, like property taxes, that they can use to spend on infrastructure. And what is the typical situation is you have a road infrastructure, drainage, or you want to build a little park, you know, you need to spend the money now, and it will take some time to get it back if you're a municipality. And so municipal securities is the kind of financial asset that municipalities can issue into a market to institutional investors and retail to invest in a municipality, right? I'm going to build so much streets or so much drains. I have to build a park. I want to build a welcome center for my municipality. Now, recently, last year, in 2023, the government finally passed legislation, laws for that. So before, when we used to do it in 2012 and afterwards, it was in an unregulated space, right? With the Municipal Securities Act, you now have rules of the game that says this is what the municipalities have to disclose to investors. This is what they have to put together. And so we think it's going to provide a great fillip for municipal development.
Well, Mr. Perez, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us your expertise and your insights. But most importantly, thank you for following your dream and continuing the legacy and having us on Legacy Markets TV.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back, the sensational DJ and entertainer Linda Blease will join us, so don't go away.
Welcome to City Pulse by your Belize City Council. Join us on an exciting journey through the heart of Belize City, where we showcase the transformative initiatives shaping our resilient community. Our commitment to the people is unwavering, and our city's progress is built on solid foundations. At the beginning of this year, we pledged to rehabilitate 90 streets. Proudly, we've completed 71 streets, or 36,431 linear feet, which accounts for an impressive 78% of our commitment. The Council has made significant progress. Among these, 23 have been concreted, 26 have undergone rehabilitation using the chip and seal method, and an additional 22 streets have been further enhanced, being filled or topped up with materials such as hardcore or all-in, demonstrating our commitment to improving our city's infrastructure. But we're not stopping there. We've identified 41 more streets that need our attention. We are projected to meet 100% of our 90-street commitment 2 months ahead of schedule, accounting for an unprecedented 54,829 plus linear feet of road rehabilitation completed within the last 10 months. This transformation is fueled by a $6.9 million budget allocation, with 59% coming from municipal papers, 41% from the Council's operations, and support from our valued partners. Stay connected with City Pulse and witness the journey of a brighter, more connected Belize City. We're committed to your future. This People's United Party City Council is always about the people.
Welcome back to the Legacy Markets Business Show. In this segment of Innovators Unplugged, where we highlight remarkable individuals who have shaped industries through their creativity. Today, we are thrilled to have the talented Miss Linda Blease joining us. Linda isn't just a disc jockey, she's a dynamic presence in the entertainment world, leaving her mark across the Caribbean, Europe, and beyond as her skills in the music and production have captivated audiences far and wide. Welcome, Miss Blease from Belize.
Thank you for having me on the show. Happy for you on the show.
Well, we are so excited to have you on the show because we want to know more about you and your journey. Did you always envision this as your career path?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I never envisioned it. I know I'm a one day in entertainment, but it was more heading towards music. Like when it comes to like probably playing an instrument or something like that. And then I ended up doing theater acting, and from there I just kind of moved into TV production and media and editing and stuff like that, and it just progressed from that into DJing.
So what was the pivotal role in your life that you made that transition?
I realized that DJing easier and it make money quicker. I don't know how else to put it really. I used to be one video director as well and production manager at one TV station here in Belize, and I used to work kind of liaison with other places like Furtherlands and stuff like that, doing editing and stuff. And just over time, they put me on radio, the creme, and I start playing music and I realized I could probably DJ. And I just start put some effort into that. And then I realized that, yeah, this is kind of easier. It just kind of take over my life.
So I know that in some Caribbean cultures, and especially in Belize, sometimes your industry is not considered a real job.
Yeah.
And I know you've gotten feedback on that. So
absolutely.
So can you tell us how you were able to monetize this or explain to others how this is what you do to make your living?
It's always a struggle speaking to people that maybe cannot see further than their nose in other professions, you don't want to say. When you try to tell them that you DJ for a living, they tell you about what you want to do for long term. I think when it comes to being an entertainer, especially one that people appreciate or has done so much in the industry, over time, with age, instead of depreciating, you actually appreciate. So like your value appreciates, you cost more than when you may just start probably 20 years ago like me. So I think that people need to figure out one way for, monetize what they do properly and just stick with it. I don't know how to explain to people that can't see the vision. It's kind of hard to explain today. I personally found a way to monetize it, so.
So let's talk about, since we're on the topic of monetizing, in order to do so, you have to constantly be marketing yourself as a personality or as a DJ. What are some marketing strategies that you've used?
I usually do photo shoots. I have posts on SoundCloud. I try to stay somewhat visible. A little bit less now because I get a little bit older and head towards retirement, but I mostly concentrate on publicizing myself when it comes to cruise ships and all that stuff, like the cruise ship lifestyle, because that's the contracts that I keep getting over and over again, and I want to keep those consistent. So I just make sure my music is up to par, my performance is up to par, and I'm always camera ready, because, you know, when publicizing with a billion-dollar corporation, you always have to make sure you look the part for publicity.
Definitely. And I know a lot of young entrepreneurs or people who aspire to be you or step into your shoes one day, sometimes they feel like they have to do everything by themselves. You mentioned that you have a contract with some of the cruises.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about the importance of collaboration?
You can collab, but also in the beginning, I used to do most of the things alone, with friends or with people that would be willing to help me out. It's just over time, for the past, like, I don't want to say 7 years, I start collaborate with cruise lines. Collaboration is very important when it comes to either you're doing it small with your friends or with a big corporation or with your company or whatever, because at the end of the day, both of you are building together. Whether it's a big corporation and you or just your friends together building whatever you're trying to build when it comes to branding.
Definitely, and your brand is very unique because our country is so unique with about 400,000 people more or less. So how have you been able to use your identity to market yourself internationally and use Belize in your background?
I think Belize have a very interesting niche because we speak English and some people speak Spanish and other stuff like that. So we have a proper mixture of things to kind of seem more diverse in the rest of the world. So when they look for entertainers in Belize, like me, I can come off, I can speak English, I can speak Spanish. I know different genres of music because we listen to a diverse bunch of music here. We listen to hip hop, soca, dancehall, you name it, we listen to it here. So it gave me like an upper hand compared to other people in other countries. And of course, you know that you're a woman.
Yeah, in this industry, and but there are a lot of women and female disc jockeys now that are on the rise.
Yes, they are.
What do you think contributed to that spike?
I always thought they had a few. Like when I was growing up, coming up as a DJ, I always knew of a few DJs around Belize that were female. And then when I started traveling, I met more. I always thought they had a nice amount, but I'm happy to see more people doing it or being more brave. I like the new generation. I think they're very brave. Compared to when I grew up, I think people were more shy. Maybe they had the skill, but they never had the bravery to come out and actually present themselves. So I'm happy that people more brave, brave and out there. Yeah. They're willing to get on stage, they're willing to show their skills. If they have multiple skills, they're willing to show that. Back in my days, then I tell you concentrate on one thing. So I'm happy that that's not the case anymore and people free for show every skill that they have.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Now we want to know more about some of the challenges that you face in this industry and how you were able to overcome them.
A few of the challenges that I faced way back in the day was mostly people not willing to pay me what I asked for. So they felt that I didn't deserve it at some point. And then I had to make a small investment in myself. Oh my goodness, a small investment. At the time, it was big because I took a loan out. And I had two choices. I either could have buy one house, or kinda buy one house, or invest in my international career, like pay for one little small branding project to take myself over to Jamaica and just kind of publicize myself and do events. And I chose the latter, to just take that little bit of money that I could have used for a down payment. Might be a little bit irresponsible, but I still end up to have one house now. But back then, I take that money and I got to Jamaica and I just kind of put myself there and took jobs. And that helped me to increase my value over here. Because
we know that when you travel outside and you're doing well and you get recognized outside of your country, then when you come back, that's when you get support.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the case. But ladies and gentlemen, you hear Miss Linda right now, support those locally, because when they come back, you want to be a part of their journey. You don't want to just come. I'm sure you've experienced that.
You know, I just take everything as things happen in my own time, so I don't really try overthink about it, and in that, I don't try to judge people too much. Sometimes when you overthink about anything, you just kind of harbor a lot of negativity for no reason. So I think it's just best to just do your part how you could and just receive the blessings how they come.
Definitely. So our last question for you is, are there any new business ventures that you are currently exploring, or is there anything that we should be on the lookout for?
Maybe when I quit ships, I might start a couple of businesses. I don't want to talk about a lot of it right now, but I still do like my crochet work and stuff like that when I have free time. I don't have as much free time as during the pandemic for that stuff. I really want to venture into more art projects, just because of course when I quit ships, I'm going to retire. I'm still going to be DJing, all that stuff. I'm just going to take my time with my life at that point. Because me, almost 40, so I know the plan for increase, no work. I had to try to slow down. Definitely.
So where can our viewers find you on social media to keep up with you?
You can find me on Instagram at Miss Blease, MISS.BLEASE. Of course, you can find me anywhere. You can also Google me, Linda Blease, LINDABLEASE. All my following pop up there, SoundCloud, AudioMax, everything. So it's pretty easy to find.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Legacy Markets.
Thank you too.
And we wish you all the best on your future endeavors.
Oh, thank you.
And when we come back, we have martial artist and instructor Sensei Leon Guild join us in the studios. Stay tuned.
Legacy Fund will change Belize from small-scale municipal improvement projects to national infrastructural advancement. Unsightly playgrounds, derelict buildings, unsafe bridges, poor housing choices will become a thing of the past. How will this happen, you ask? Well, with the right partners, of course, but not the ones you're thinking of. Legacy is not looking at traditional financial institutions. We will build this transformation with you, the everyday hard-working Belizean citizen, the hairdresser, the tour guide, the fruit vendor at the market. Using the market and innovative financial tools, Legacy brings you and Belize the financial solution to grow your wealth for you and your community. Contact us and find out how you can be a part of this exciting new Belize that we build. Call 822-1794 or email clientservices@legacyfundlimited.com. People, capital, innovation. Legacy Fund Limited.
Are you interested in diversifying your investment portfolio while maintaining a low-risk profile? Are you the smart, sophisticated investor that is seeking greater interest return on your investments while investing in your city? If you are, then you should invest in the Belize City Council's municipal securities. The Belize City Council offers both short and long-term securities that are attractive financial market options, which provides the investor with greater social added value satisfaction. You ask why? Because your investment in the securities are reinvested back into the growth and development of your city by way of infrastructural development, streets and drainage construction, parks, playgrounds, bridge rehabilitation, and much, much more. Let's look at the key features of municipal securities. First, they are tax-free. This means more of your money stays with you. You will enjoy greater interest yield without any tax deductions. Second, our interest rates of 4.5% on municipal papers and 8% on municipal bonds easily surpasses current financial institutions' interest rates on savings. Municipal securities are also a great investment in your retirement. The faster your money grows, the faster you reach your retirement fund goals. The municipal paper and the municipal bond are both tradable and transferable investments. This means that investors can get their money back before the maturity date by selling their securities to a third party. Lastly, investing in municipal papers offers investors a steady stream of income. You will receive your full interest earned on a quarterly basis until the maturity of the paper. To learn more about the Belize City Council's municipal securities and how you can invest in your city, call our financial advisor, Alpha Capital LLP, at 822-1794. Email at securitiestrade1@alphacapital.bz or give us a call at 227-3073. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Welcome back to our segment on the business of sports. Today we have the honor of hosting a true master of his craft, Sensei Leon Guild. With a wealth of experience in karate, Sensei Guild has not only developed his skills on the mat, but also demonstrated leadership with his own dojo. To mentoring students and shaping the next generation of martial artists, Sensei Guild's dedication to both the art and business of karate is definitely inspiring. Welcome, Sensei. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
So, Sensei, your depth of experience in karate, it has truly been inspiring. So can you give us a little bit of insights on how you've gotten here today?
So right away, I get thrown right in there, grouped with the creatives, because running a martial arts school is no easy task. It has to be fluid. It has to change with the time. Although we are respectful to tradition, our instructions have to change with the times, with the collective consciousness of people, what society wants, what they're asking for. We have to be able to adapt. So it's not just sitting down and regurgitating exactly what you learned. It's twisting, constantly twisting, bending, tweaking, shaping, and a lot of traveling.
Okay, well, speaking of traveling, we know you've traveled all over the world, and it must have given you a lot of experiences. So how have these experiences shaped your teaching styles and, especially, the values that you have at Red Dragon Dojo?
Well, definitely. Martial arts, you cannot jump into a field of practice without studying a bit of the history. And what traveling has done for me, it has given me perspective with respect to the history of the martial arts, and especially the commoditization, if I can use that word, the monetizing of the tradition. So what was lost, what remains, what is authentic, what is not authentic. So all of those things. Anything that comes to the Western Hemisphere changes. Right? So if we're going to, and if you're going to establish a strong foundation in anything, yes, wherever you find, as a rule of thumb is, as long as you don't find it in the same place that it originates, you need to take it back to the place that it originates, then move forward from there. Then you can see, okay, it changed when it reached this country, it changed a bit when it reached that country, this is how it, and this is how it ended up in Belize. And then from there I can see, okay, now I have the bird's eye view of the entire picture. And then from there I feel the freedom to move and twist and shake and reshape as I feel.
Okay, excellent. Well, it seems that you've been enjoying your journey so far, of course.
Definitely.
So let's discuss some of the financial aspects when it comes to being a member at your dojo. Can you touch a little bit on that for us?
As in tuitions and
yes,
fees?
Yes.
Well, so we've come a long way. Right now, if you want to train with us, it's $150 Belize Dollars monthly, and that's at the beginner stage. That's for kids. It's 12 classes monthly. For adults, it's 16, depending on if you want to train karate or judo, or if you want to train both karate and judo. Okay. So the name of my dojo is the Martial Arts Academy.
Okay, Martial Arts Academy.
Right, and I tend to move away from saying Belize, because whenever you say Belize, I'm proud of my country, whenever you say Belize, you put yourself in the Belize box, and then you're limiting yourself. So it's the Martial Arts Academy, and I'll come back to that further into our interview, why I don't necessarily put Belize there. So it's the Martial Arts Academy, and what people tend not to understand is that the term martial arts is an umbrella term. So when you tell someone when I say to someone, I train martial arts, I'm really not telling them anything. It's just, I'm saying I study some form of self-defense. But when you're speaking directly to karate or judo or wrestling or boxing, all of those are martial arts under the general umbrella of martial arts. So then the next follow-up question would be, which martial art do you train? So at the Martial Arts Academy, we primarily do Shotokan karate and judo. But we have jiu-jitsu, we do some capoeira, we do some kickboxing, and we train all the weapons and everything, the sword, everything. Students get a proper martial arts education when they train with us. Okay,
so you get all of that for that $150?
Well, you get to choose which program you want. Some people just want judo, some people just want, if you just want judo, then it's 100. If you just want karate, then it's 100. If you want both, then we say it's 150. And registration is $35. And we didn't start at that price, of course. We started way back at $75, but as we progressed and matured, in this field, and as I traveled around Central America, it kind of gives perspective. I was able to evaluate what I'm offering in Belize, at what price, to in El Salvador or Panama, what they're offering, and I realized that, I'm giving away a lot in Belize. Oh, wow. And if you go to a lot of people, the culture shock, when they leave Belize and they go to America or any of the developed countries, and they try to continue their study, it's a failure. They can't do it. Okay. The price is insane. The locations are some 50 miles away. In Belize, everything is around the corner, Right. But when you go to these bigger countries, it's completely different.
So speaking of the price disparity amongst other countries, how do you ensure affordability and sustaining a quality of instructions that you have for these students? Well,
the quality of instruction is a no-brainer for us. I think we've built a reputation on the quality of our instruction, and that quality just becomes more and more refined over the years. We try not to sell ourselves short. People will say, oh, 150 is a lot. But now I'm in my 40s and I've been doing this for a while, and I realize the disparity between somebody who complains about the value of your product and someone who understands the value of your product. What we're giving away for $150 a month, in another country, that's something around $600 or $700 or maybe even $1,000 monthly, what we're giving away here. What we struggle with all the time is getting Belizeans to understand the value of having a martial arts education. It's not all about punching your hands and kicking your feet and beating up bullies and bad guys. It's not that. There's the spiritual aspect of it, the discipline of it, the learning myself, my physiology part of it, learning my mind, spending time with myself, like becoming my own best friend. All of that is there, and what we do at the Martial Arts Academy, aka the Red Dragon Dojo, is we create an atmosphere conducive to that, conducive to you that you're not going to be disturbed here. Everyone here, if you don't reach out and ask for help for someone outside of an official class, people will assume that you're here maybe on a Saturday and a Sunday to work on something that you're concerned about. Nobody will disturb you. And then there's always someone there for you to ask, I have a question, and then the senior students, that's their duty. If a lower rank asks you for assistance or question, that is their obligation to stop whatever they're doing and give attention first. So service is the main thing. Service to the community. This word samurai means servant. So.
Okay, good education there. But so let's talk about when you have to take your dojo or take your team somewhere across, the globe or so for competition. What are some of the investments and some of the costs that it entails to do that?
Sport karate is very expensive.
Yeah.
Especially when you want to play on that level. There's sport karate, there's traditional karate, and there's self-defense. So those are the three aspects of any martial arts system. And normally you pick one and you specialize in one. But at the Martial Arts Academy, we specialize in all three. And, traveling isn't easy because we are in Belize, and we know that sport gets the smallest budget. Overall, it's really a non-existing ministry. In other countries, you'll find that sports is actually subsidized by the private sector heavily. So we basically spend our own money. What we make, we invest in the athletes who go away. We use the sport aspect of karate for the marketing of our dojo. We've had a reputation to produce very good athletes over the years. Since before my time, I took over from Sensei Bateman some years ago in 2006. And we had an established reputation as a dojo that produces good martial artists. And so the onus for me when I took over back in 2006 was to carry that. And I think, I believe I've done a good job, but we do spend heavily on sport in this country. We have to fly. Nobody gives us any discounts.
No sponsorship.
No sponsorship. We do our barbecues when we have to. I have a student who started cooking, Ishmael. He's on an Olympic scholarship. So we do get very good support from the National Olympic Committee.
Okay.
Ishmael does the art of judo. He studied cooking, so he bakes carrot cakes on Fridays, and the parents, they love his cooking. So little things. And then we have an extended group of supporters over the years who support, like the families, they want it. And then, like right now, yesterday we had a meeting with Sports Council. We're going to El Salvador in October. Nice. So that came out, the schedule came out. The government told us what aspect of it we are responsible for. And immediately we're well traveled in Central America, so we know what it costs and how to get to any country from Belize. Okay. So that budget went out as of yesterday, and everyone is already focused on October in El Salvador, but we basically go into our pockets. Okay. But if we love it, Yes. And I know what traveling has done for me. I speak 4 languages because of sport karate. And here in Belize, life is easy for me because when I go to these countries, just everything, infrastructure, economy, culture, everything. You really don't know what you learn until you come back home, and then 2 or 3 or 4 years later you say, oh, I saw this when I was in Colombia, and you know, there's something.
Okay.
So I love taking my experience out of the country.
Well, I love that story. But you just mentioned what karate has done for you. What do you think it does for the development of a community?
Well, I have been sensitized heavily towards different cultures mainly. You know, there are people who that we categorize as lesser fortunate than ourselves, less fortunate than ourselves. And it's just perspective, really, to understand and to learn, not to judge, to be patient. You know, some people, different people come with different abilities. You know, the other countries are huge on Special Olympics. You know, the time, and I've seen the time, and my heart is in the Special Olympics. You know, I would like to get into that as well. I need proper training. I would like to get into that. Just the admiration. My students, they fly, they learn geography, they understand borders and issues from different cultures, history from a different culture, and they can compare it to here. We've never had civil wars in Belize. You know, all of those things. It just all around sensitizes you to everything. And you know, you take a step back before you cast judgment, or before you express an unvalidated opinion, you know, without really thinking about it. You know, there's a maturity that comes with it.
Okay, that's nice. So, well, you know, we are out of time, but before we go, are there any words that you would have for an aspiring martial artist here in Belize?
An aspiring martial artist, any word. Just, you know, if whatever school you join, it doesn't have to be the martial arts academy. Whatever school you join, you go empty, you go open-minded. Don't even, sometimes we inherit students from a different tradition, and they already, you know, they were senior with it, and they come and they know everything already. Just go open, forget what you know. What you know will help you, but remain open to, you know, to just build on top of that, you know.
Okay, well, thank you for those last words, Sensei. So, and also thank you for sharing your experiences with us. We truly appreciate your time and your expertise here today.
All right, thanks very much.
And to our audience, stay tuned. We will be right back after the short break.
Welcome to City Pulse by your Belize City Council. Join us on an exciting journey through the heart of Belize City, where we showcase the transformative initiatives shaping our resilient community. Our commitment to the people is unwavering, and our city's progress is built on solid foundations. At the beginning of this year, we pledged to rehabilitate 90 streets. Proudly, we've completed 71 streets, or 36,431 linear feet, which accounts for an impressive 78% of our commitment. The Council has made significant progress. Among these, 23 have been concreted, 26 have undergone rehabilitation using the chip and seal method, and an additional 22 streets have been further enhanced, being filled or topped up with materials such as hardcore or all-in, demonstrating our commitment to improving our city's infrastructure. But we're not stopping there. We've identified 41 more streets that need our attention. We are projected to meet 100% of our 90 street commitment 2 months ahead of schedule, accounting for an unprecedented 54,829 plus linear feet of road rehabilitation completed within the last 10 months. This transformation is fueled by a $6.9 million budget allocation, with 59% coming from municipal papers, 41% from the Council's operations, and support from our valued partners. Stay connected with City Pulse and witness the journey of a brighter, more connected Belize City. We're committed to your future. This People's United Party City Council is always about the people.
And that's it for today's show. Remember to join us weekly on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. for another episode of Legacy Markets. For now, we want to say good night, and remember, together we create a legacy of a better world. Bye!